welcome to the Women and Career video session. So you're watching our Women Supporting Women series from Senegal in Dakar. So if you're watching us for the first time, please do not forget, you see the website down below, www.womenandcareer.com. Check us out. Check us on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram at Women and Career. Don't forget to click the like button. So to our participant for today, she's an interesting woman that does have Senegalese origin. She was actually born in Germany. She was raised in France. She spent over 10 years in the financial sector working for the Societe Generale Group. And she's currently the CEO and founder of Senegalese. So Senegalese is a financial education platform for teenagers. And Senegalese is the wolof, that's a Senegalese tribal language, meaning for money. We are pleased and happy to welcome Diana Brondle. Diana, welcome. So Diana, welcome.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Jane.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. You know, just going through your profile, and what keeps going through my head is what is driving you to have a financial education platform for teenagers? How did that all start?
It makes a lot of sense with my background. I'm, as you said, from the banking sector, so I've spent 10 years working in a bank, seeing how a bank services its clients. Definitely youngsters are not the main target client.
Exactly.
And then in the same time, I'm a banker, but I'm also a mother of 2 kids. And the idea by building Senegalese, I'm trying to build the tool I would like to have at my disposal as a parent to teach my kids the value of money. So it's like really, it's meaningful for me.
Yeah, it's meaningful. It makes sense because, you know, as a mother, I also, I tell myself, how am I going to teach my kids the value of money?
Exactly.
You know, to have a tool where they can learn, I think is amazing.
Exactly.
But it's also interesting to see that you are that passionate about kids.
As a mom, you know, it's very difficult. Like today, if you look at our kids, they have access to almost everything. You know, like as Google like to say, like when you have Google, you have the world at your disposal. But then, in the same time, it's very important as a parent. You also have a responsibility to teach your kids the value, how you want them to behave, what kind of grown-ups you want them to be. And by building this tool, of course, I was building it for myself. But the idea was to say, I have a background, I've learned some stuff, and if I can make it work for myself, if I can build something that is good enough that I could use it for myself, why not make it available to other parents?
Wow, that's good. So for those of you watching, so Senegalese has launched in Senegal and it will be launching in Paris in France very soon. So we're going to put the details. Don't forget to check it out. We'll put the website, the social media. You can check out the product. I think it's really amazing. As a mom, I can say it's really amazing. But I also want to, looking at your career, because there are very few women, we're talking about it earlier today, having their own startups, going there. Most of us women, it is a tough hurdle, and to be there in a sector where I think we really have a lot of men in the financial sector and very few women.
Yes.
So I want to say, looking back at your journey, what would you have said helped you get to this place? Okay. What are those success factors you want to put in, or tips, 1 or 2 tips that's helped you make it to the point where you're launching Senegalese, not just in Senegal, but in Paris, in France?
I think what's very important and what really drove my action is that, people used to, and still do that, they classify, say you are a girl, so you are more entitled or to do this or to do that. I think it's really education, and it's really my mom, because when I was a kid, nobody ever told me that I couldn't do whatever I wanted, So in everything I do, there are many things I've done, even like in terms of schooling, where I was like a little bit groundbreaking. But for me, it never was a challenge, and it was not because I was the first one doing it that I was not capable of doing it. It just never crossed my mind, and this is really like education, I think, self-confidence also, but that I took from my parents, who always told me that I could be anything I want and I could do anything I want.
So they kind of encouraged you?
The thing is, what is very interesting is, they could have encouraged me by being behind me, telling me what to do. which was not the case. It was much more subtle and much more important than that, is that they have decided for themselves that their kid can do whatever he wants
or she wants to do.
And you know, and then it came from there. Like, so every time I made on my own all the decisions for my schools, for my job, to quit my job, to launch my startup. Of course, sometimes they were kind of puzzled, you know.
Exactly.
But then they say, okay, but this is the kind of child we raised. You know, we wanted her to be able to do and to try whatever she wants. You know.
So they kind of empowered you to make your own decisions.
Exactly. You know, but also they gave me very young, they gave me responsibilities. I remember, you know, when I was a little girl, like my parents got divorced, I was 3 years old, you know, so like we've been very independent with my mom from childhood on. And she always empowered me to do stuff, you know, to take my own responsibilities, to make my homework, you know, and it doesn't have to be something overwhelming, you know, it's just on a day-to-day basis to put a person in a position where she or he can take responsibilities. And this is also something I want to do with Xalis, by giving the kids this card with which they can pay, they can retrieve money, they can behave like grown-up, but they can also take responsibility. And by taking responsibility, the idea is not for a parent to say, look, and trust the digital era to do your job. No, the idea is to say, how do you leverage the technology that you have at your disposal today to empower your kids?
Use it for good.
Exactly.
Technology for good.
Definitely. To be like really impactful, you know? It's not like, it's very difficult when I talk about my fintech. People talk me, is it a fintech? For me, it's also an ed tech, because it's, of course, I give the kids a financial tool they can pay with, they can save, but it's also about education, you know?
Because you're educating them about money, the value of money.
The value of money, and I try to do it using their codes. So doing something very ludic, very fun, a lot of gamification, you know. I try to put myself in the shoes of the kids. Definitely, I'm not that gifted. So I also have like...
You're a mom, though.
Yeah, I'm a mom, but, you know, but I had to gather around me. And this is something also very important. I have structured what I call a shadow comics of young kids. And they are between 12 and 17. And everything I do, I come to them. You know,
wow! So you get them involved.
Yeah, I put myself out there and say, "Oh, kids, look! I think we should do this," and they look at me and say, "Listen, don't talk to us like we are 5 years old." You know, so you take your snap and you go back and you come. You know, but by saying this, what I want to say is that you need to be very open and eager to learn from everybody,
even from the same kids.
Exactly. And I think it will be very interesting, you know, once we have like some data and some background with this financial education platform. But it's a tool for the kids, but I'm sure that the parents will learn a lot about themselves, about mistakes maybe they made in the past, and it's also here for communication, you know. I like to say that the fintech and the card is just an enabler. What I try to do is to make sense out of money. And you know, that's why I called the company Xalis. I like the relationship people have in African countries to money. You do not have money to put yourself out there in your castle. When you have money, you become more and more important in your community, because you become a means for people.
Wow. So money is like a tool.
Exactly. Money
is not the end.
No, money definitely is not the end. And this is something very personal. It's a very strong value I have. And I want parents and kids to use money as it should be. So just as an enabler, you know, but not as an end.
That for me, I'm even learning from you. Like, and I strongly believe, this is now me personally talking, that Xalis will go far because it is a need.
Yeah.
You know, I see it going just beyond Senegal and Paris, you know, West Africa, East Africa, because we all need it. We all struggle on how to communicate issues or topics around money with our kids. Because for a long time, it's perceived to be something for adults.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't talk to the kids about money. Why do we want to bother them about money? Yeah. You know, don't make these difficult decisions or get them. But the way you're doing, you're making it fun in a way that they can communicate. And they can understand, because you're using languages and tools that they can relate to.
Exactly.
So it becomes acceptable to them.
Exactly.
So I'm super, super proud. So one last question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I always like to ask this question because I know there are lots of young people watching. And you're seeing how far you have evolved your career, you've grown, the boldness and courage to start this in Africa. You could have decided you do it somewhere else because you believe that you don't need it. If you had to look back and you had to give some kind of advice to your younger self, so pretend it's your younger self that is about to embark on this career journey, or a journey she doesn't know where life is going to take her, what is that one thing you're going to tell her?
I would say that everything is a question of balance. Balance is very important. I take this example because I've quit a very good job, a very good position to embark in this startup adventure. Because before doing that, which is a very heavy burden, I have managed to get a good balance. Balance doesn't necessarily have to be a husband or kids, but balance just has to be something that ties you in the ground, that you can rely on, and to make sure that however difficult it will get, because everything you will do at one point will get extremely difficult, you need a point of balance. The point of balance can be your friends, your family, your kids, but it's very important to have a point of balance, and
something that grounds you.
Yes, and energy. When you do entrepreneurship, it's a lot about energy and courage. You can produce
and
energy.
A lot of risk taking.
Of risk taking also, but it's energy. It's energy because at one point, hard work pays off. Maybe not as you wish it would, but let's say if Xalis isn't a big success tomorrow, it was a great learning curve and a great learning experience. I've grown professionally as much in the last year and a half than I have done in the corporate in the last 10 years.
Wow,
but it's important because it takes a lot of energy, and you need to produce energy, but you need also to take energy. Exactly, and to receive
you have
energy.
To be fed energy.
Exactly.
Good. That's amazing. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
It's really good having you.
It was a pleasure.
So guys, don't forget, we'll keep the details here. Check out Xalis. We'll put the website and all the social media handles so you can check it out. And like we said, if you're watching for the first time, do not forget to click the like button. And once more, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.